Jeff Fisher's Titans defeated the Rams last Saturday, 34-13. While Lane Kiffin's Raiders last Friday defeated the San Francisco 49ers 18-6. The Tennessee Titans have won the toss, but Jeff Fisher elected to defer, another one of the new rule changes in the NFL this season. So the Raiders will get the ball first.
I really like that addition. You know, Tony's excited about the communication between the defense, but that's one that I really think is going to have an impact on the game. A lot of strategy on that opening coin toss, and it was fun sitting down with Jeff Fisher and going through the scenarios of, hey, you know, when do you think you should defer? And he asked us, you know, has anybody deferred yet this year? And you know, I'm not sure. I've seen a couple games and haven't really heard. So, yeah, maybe he wanted to be the first one to do it this season.
Johnny Lee Higgins back deep for the Raiders. Nashville native John Vaughn filling in for the injured Rob Baronis will get things started for the Titans. The Tennessee Titans and the Oakland Raiders on Fox. And we are underway from Nashville. Kickoff taken at the 4 by Johnny Lee Higgins. Higgins out across the 20, a penalty marker, as Higgins is brought down at the 28-yard line. Bill Levy is our referee tonight.
Number 40, receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Terod Cooper, the guilty Raider. DeMarcus Russell, in his second season out of Louisiana State, leads the Raiders out. He held out last season, did not play during the preseason. Started one game for the Raiders last December.
Yeah, this is really his first training camp, and he's got a lot to learn. We talked about the upside, the potential, and some of the same challenges that Vince Young has gone through. JaMarcus Russell will go through this season. He's got Greg Knapp as his offensive coordinator. He spent his time down in Atlanta orchestrating an offense for another very athletic quarterback in Michael Vick, so some good carryover there for JaMarcus Russell.
First and 10 from the 11-yard line. Russell's first pass is caught by Ronald Curry, who's in a battle with Drew Carter, the former Carolina Panther, for that starting wide receiver position.
Couple of spots still in flux for this Oakland Raider offense. The second wide receiver, is it going to be Donald Curry? Is it going to be Drew Carter? And then down at the center position, Jake Grove, John Wade, and even Chris Morris in that battle.
A look at the Titans defense. They finished 5th in the league last season. Second down and 3 from the 18. The handoff, Justin Fargas, 1,000-yard rusher a year ago for the Raiders in his 6th season out of USC.
I think it's going to be a good test for the Oakland Raiders offense and their defense to find out really where they are. And you know, we had a chance to sit down with Lane Kiffin, and he made the statement that he wishes they were still out in Napa. He wants a little bit more training camp. And, you know, I asked him about that, and he said, you know, I need to find out where we are. I'm not sure where we are yet. He goes, this is going to be a great measuring stick. Tennessee, a playoff team from last year, very physical down in the trenches.
Third down and 2. Russell's pass incomplete off the fingertips of the former Packer and Bronco, Javon Walker.
Well, Javon Walker's gotten off to a kind of slow start this camp, even tinkered with retirement at one point, but has had his best week of training camp this past week. Right there, he's got to make that catch. He's a seasoned veteran receiver playing on a big free agent contract. Got to move those chains.
Glenn Pakaluk signed 2 days ago by the Raiders, punting for the injured Shane Leckler. And the former Raider, Chris Carr, is back deep for the Titans. So the Raiders go 3 and out on their opening drive as we check in for the first time with...
Even in pregame warm-ups, some of his teammates were saying, hey, Vince, don't forget, let your legs talk to you. Kenny?
Thanks, Chris. Good starting field position. The Titans empty the backfield. Everybody out. And Young's first pass is caught by the third-year back out of USC, Lendale White. As we check out the Titans on offense, Kevin Mawai in the middle has started more games than any other active offensive lineman in the entire league.
That's impressive. And now he gets to finish his career with one of the best to play along the offensive line, Mike Munchak. And really enjoyed his time being able to work with him, get some good tips from one of the best ever along that front.
Munchak, the Titans offensive line coach, a Hall of Famer. Two tight ends, Young out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 9. Under pressure, wrapped up. Down he goes. Thomas Howard in his 3rd season out of Texas, El Paso, with the sack for the Raiders.
Well, they blitzed on their first 2 plays, and nobody's picking them up. You know, Vince was able to get the ball out on the last one. That time, nobody there to get Thomas Howard. He's free to the quarterback. Don't know if we missed a hot out there in the slot. It looked like Vince wanted to get that ball out quick like he did on that first snap. So I think one of his wideouts missed the hot adjustment, left him hanging in the pocket.
Those interior guys, the center and the 2 guards, are so worried about those interior big men. You got to watch those linebackers coming.
Young on 3rd down and 17. Complete to the tight end, Bo Scaife. Driven out of bounds at the 46-yard line, about 6 yards shy of the marker. So the Titans send out the punting unit. The 2-time Pro Bowler Craig Hentrick back at his own 32. Johnny Lee Higgins back deep for the Raiders. Hentrick put a little too much on it, so the Raiders will start at their own 20-yard line when we return to Nashville. No score, early first quarter. Back in Nashville, early first quarter. Jamarcus Russell and the Raiders will start from their own 20, and Lane Kiffin told us it is important for Jamarcus Russell to play a lot throughout this preseason to get comfortable with the new players. And in Kiffin's words, Jamarcus is still a rookie.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, he got there late last year, played a little bit during the regular season, but training camp is when all the fundamentals are learned, and it's going to be a great opportunity for Jamarcus Russell to take a big step. And Lane Kiffin is forced to be in a position where he's got to put him, you know, out there on the field a lot in preseason. I mean, he's your quarterback of the future. He's your guy. And, you know, you roll the dice in a situation like that, but, you know, the pluses are so far outweigh the minuses.
Last season, Josh McCown started 9 games, Dante Culpepper 6, and Jamarcus Russell 1 for the Raiders. Movement prior to the snap.
Well, that's how you slow down those big guys up front with the pass rush. Work that snap count, hard count.
Encroachment, number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Tony Brown. Titans have a couple of Pro Bowlers on their defensive line, Albert Hainsworth and Kyle Vanden Bosch, and Javon Curse is back after spending 4 years in Philadelphia.
Well, I'm interested to see what Javon Curse's production is this season, not being the guy. I mean, when you play the Titans, you've got to worry about Kyle Vanden Bosch and Albert Hainsworth, and as soon as you forget about Javon Curse and get him singled up, you could be in a lot of trouble.
That's nice. He could just go out there, line up, Moose, and just go upfield. Rush the passer. I mean, he has a lot less responsibilities when you surround yourself with really good players, man. All of a sudden you find one in front of you and you're singled up. That's when you can go and make big plays.
It's all about creating multiple threats and putting stress on an offense or a defense, whether it's in your wide receiver depth or in this situation with 3 great pass rushers across the defensive front. A lot of strain on that offensive line of your opponents.
Justin Fargas gained 4 on the previous play. Again, the give to Fargas, and this time he is hit for a loss. Albert Hainsworth getting to Justin Fargas in the backfield.
Well, if you look at Hainsworth right here, the penetration he gets to the backfield, that's where everything is done right there. Run this right here. He splits the double team, boom. You cannot, the Raiders, one thing that Lane Kiffin really talked about was stop turning the ball over. Last year, 42 fumbles, and that's why, because that offensive line is letting those big guys get through the line of scrimmage. You can't have that happen.
Russell on 3rd down and 3, and again a terrific tackle is made by Eric King, starting at left corner today for the injured Nick Harper as he met Curry, immediately forcing another Raiders punt.
A great reaction by Eric King on that play. Jamarcus Russell, a big, strong arm, can get that ball out quickly, but read it right away, got up there, made a sure tackle out in the open field. Greg Knapp probably talking to him. I don't know if it was that wide open out there. We're in a third down situation. We need to move those chains. Might be talking to him about what he saw, why he decided to go to that play.
Pakaluk punting for the second time, taken at the 31 by Carr. And the former Raider is forced back all the way back to the 22-yard line by Sam Williams. Good stand on Fox. Tennessee Titans, Oakland Raiders are scoreless. And there is the Raiders middle linebacker Kirk Morrison. You see the green sticker on the back of his helmet signifying that he is the one defensive player, with the speaker inside his helmet, and Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator, sending in the plays, the defensive signals.
Yeah, and you know that up until that 15-second cutoff point that Rob Ryan is talking to Kirk Morrison about everything he can possibly to give him some tips and tendencies.
Second reception for the tight end Scaife, and he's brought down just shy of the 30-yard line by the former New York Giant, Jabril Wilson.
And I think that that's why all the defensive players are excited, because when it got put into the offensive side, I think it was just to speed up the calling, the signaling from the sideline. They had reduced the play clock. Well, what they're finding out is during that time, the people who are talking to the quarterback are giving him tips and tendencies as he's coming to the line. He's scanning. Now, right now, you're in Vince Young's ear. You're telling him stuff up until that 15-second point. Now the defense has that same luxury of being able to tell the guy who has the communication device the tips that he can relay to his teammates in that front seven.
Moose, you made a great point talking to you earlier about how different the calls are for the offense compared to the defense. Defense would just go and say over, under, cover 2, cover 3. They'd be done with their calls in 2 seconds, whereas the offense would have all this verbiage that I couldn't even understand. So it gives the defense a lot more time, a defense coordinator, to go and look at tendencies. These guys are working hundreds of hours a week. They know every little detail of where they are on the field. On this down, this is what you come to see. That information is communicated to those guys out there, which really, really helps.
More flags on 3rd down and 1.
Ball start. Number 73 offense. 5-yard penalty.
Going up to the line right now, you get tips. Hey, watch, you got 4 weak coming, which means you've got an overload blitz. Quarterback, you got your hot out to this side. Remember that. Watch that blitz. Look, that's the type of information that was coming into some of the younger players.
3rd down and 6. Young incomplete. Put a little too much on it. Intended for Justin McCarrans, who is back with the Titans after spending 4 years as a member of the New York Jets.
Good to have Justin McCarrans back here for the Tennessee Titans. You got to have people to help Vince Young in his development. They've got a little bit of a veteran presence with Justin Gage and Justin McCarrans on the outside, and then they've got some good young players, and that'll be something that I'm interested to see in the second half. I think that's one of the areas for the Titans, trying to find that 3rd and 4th wide receiver.
Craig Hendrick punting for the second time. Johnny Lee Higgins from the 26, a penalty marker as Higgins is driven back. The tackle made by Colin Allred.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 31 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
Oh, looks like his evening is done early, and we get our first look at the 1st-round draft pick, 4th overall out of Arkansas, Darren McFadden.
And we're going to get a nice mix of Darren McFadden and Michael Bush. It's not going to be, okay, you're going to take the snaps from now till halftime. Michael Bush, you're going to come in the 3rd quarter. Expect to see a little bit of rotation, so both of those players can play with that starting offensive line.
McFadden lined up behind the fullback, Justin Griffith. 1st and 10 for the Raiders from their own 12. McFadden, the runner-up in Heisman Trophy balloting each of the last 2 years. First time that has ever been done. Same player finishing 2nd in Heisman voting twice.
He's exciting. I mean, he did a little bit of everything when he was at the University of Arkansas. And, he continues to make those wild plays. You read the press clippings coming out of the Bay Area about Darren McFadden and what he did at training camp. And it's like every day, morning, afternoon, he's having one of those big wild plays.
2nd down and 9. It's McFadden again up the middle, and he picks up a 1st down It's the first down for either team, and we've played nearly 8 minutes.
Well, both of these teams, you know, are going to try and stay with their running games. You know, that's going to be the bread and butter for both of these groups. So something that they really want to work on. And again, for the Oakland Raiders, to be able to run the ball effectively against this Titans front will be a huge boost in confidence for them. They had a great game against San Francisco and rushed for almost 250 yards. This will be a huge test for that offensive group.
McFadden gained 11. Justin Fargas back in. Russell looking for Walker. And Javon Walker took a hard hit from Cortland Finnegan.
Slow reaction. Slow reaction. We saw it on the slant earlier in this quarter. Watch this one. Watch. This ball is almost on top of him before he's around. Now, I know Jamarcus Russell has got a big arm, but there's got to be a sense of urgency from Javon Walker.
You don't want to hang your receivers out like that with those defensive backs in the league. Those ribs exposed, Moose. You know what happens there.
Walker out, Fargas out, McFadden back in, 2nd and 10 from the 24. The give to McFadden. And McFadden able to gain just 1. Albert Hainsworth made the stop.
Interior lineman in that middle, and you talk about the sacks, but the run game, and he talked about, yeah, I got my first Pro Bowl, but I want to be a complete tackle. I want to be an every down guy. I want people, when they watch the film, to understand that when they go up against me, they got to bring it all 60 minutes.
Russell to Fargas on 3rd and 9, and he's stopped at the line of scrimmage again. It's Cortland Finnegan, the starting right corner, and for the 3rd time in this first quarter, the Raiders forced a punt.
Your kind of game.
Just, I'll tell you, he could do it all for a big guy.
Bacalac punting from his own 15. Forcing Carr back to the 24. And Carr brings it back out to the 35-yard line. So Vince Young and the Titans coming back out following the 52-yard punt, 12 yards on the return.
Relationship as quarterback and offensive coordinator. And watch Jamarcus Russell right here with Greg Knapp. Great job getting him out of the way right there and preventing him from getting hurt along the sideline. Chris Johnson, the gunner on the outside, almost took Greg Knapp out.
And on first down, it's Lindale White taking it into Raiders territory and is finally dragged down at the 42-yard line after gaining 23.
The surprising thing about Lindale White, when you watch him on film, he's a big back, but he's got a nice burst. Watch this, the patience, gets into the backside. Now watch, a little burst right there. He's not just a power runner. I mean, he's pulling away from Kirk Morrison.
Holding on to that ball nice and high like Tiki Barber too, Moose.
Oh, they come after it. They really come after it. And for Chris Johnson, the rookie for the Titans, and for Darren McFadden with the Raiders, one of the things that they're going to have to get adjusted to is how they come after the ball at the NFL level.
That was the first down for the Titans. This is White again, this time gaining just 1. He was recruited to USC by the Raiders head coach, Lane Kiffin.
Hey, I'm fine. You know, if this guy can break off runs like he did last weekend against St. Louis, that only helps our team.
On 2nd and 9, it's White again up the middle. Takes it down to the 36 before he was tackled by Ricky Brown. Brown in a battle for the starting spot along with Robert Thomas. White gaining 6 on the play, setting up 3rd down and 3.
And again, it's just his patience. You know, a little cutback play right there. He's got his fullback out front. That play is designed to go to the left. He's got such a good feel and is patient when he gets the ball that he's able to get back out to the right side and get some extra yards.
And Darryl, here is Chris Johnson, the first-round draft pick out of East Carolina. Had a tremendous game last week in his preseason debut. Penalty markers, the play blown dead.
That's a bad play by the Tennessee Titans right there. They have a free play.
Offside. Number 98 defense. Unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
You have a free play on this. The offense goes, you snap the ball.
Titans with an automatic first down from the Raiders 31. Just under 3 minutes to go, first quarter. Young, a pump fake, now he throws, and it's nearly intercepted. Bo Scaife The intended receiver, Michael Huff, nearly made the play.
Well, that's something I'm interested to see how it pays off this season for the Oakland Raiders. Michael Huff played strong safety his first 2 years in the NFL. Not to say that he was out of position or not to say that he can't do that, but he is much better as a free safety. There's 28, Jabril Wilson. They bring him over from the Giants. Let him run with the tight ends. Let Michael Huff use his athletic ability back in the secondary with his range. I think that that's going to be one of the big changes, the new faces that you mentioned, Kenny, at the top. I think one of those is Jabril Wilson that's really going to help out this defense.
2nd and 10 off the play fake to Johnson. Pass incomplete. Intended for the fellow you had a chance to spend some time with, Darryl, before the game, the fullback Ahmad Hall.
Oh, this guy is just unbelievable. He comes out of high school, joins the Marines, spends some time in Afghanistan, finishes up there, comes back, goes to the University of Texas, and then, after 3 years goes into the draft. Jeff Fisher is thrilled about this guy, and he's got that Marine mentality. You tell him to run through a wall, he's going to run through a wall. I mean, the discipline, the respect, everything is there. I'm excited to see what type of season Ahmad Hall has for the Tennessee Titans.
A teammate of Vince Young down in Austin, Texas. Young rolling right on 3rd and 10. He throws, and the catch is made out of bounds. Brandon Jones, nice effort, but could not come down with it in bounds.
One of the things that plagued the Titans in their opening preseason game against St. Louis, missing out on opportunities in the passing.
Don Vaughn, the all-time leading scorer at Auburn, out to attempt a 49-yard field goal, hit from 48 last week, and this one is no good. Wide to the right. Filling in for the Pro Bowl kicker Rob Baronis. So the Raiders will take over. When we come back, still no score. Preseason games, Darryl, for 588 yards on the ground.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing a little bit more passing from the Tennessee Titans. I think Lane Kiffin's approach is, hey, we're not good enough to just drop back and throw it yet. Let's continue to fine-tune our running game. We got to mix in a little bit like we're doing here on the play action.
Russell to a wide-open tight end, Zach Miller, in his 2nd season out of Arizona State, into Titans territory. A 23-yard pass play.
And when you've got a great running game, one of the things you're going to be able to do is be very effective in your play action. The linebackers will have to respect that. They'll have to crowd the line of scrimmage. You can get that pass right there to Zach Miller into that vacated zone right behind the linebackers.
3 wide receivers set. Potter in the slot. Vargas in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the Titans 39. Russell to the outside, and the catch is made by Ronald Curry. And the former University of North Carolina point guard picks up another Raider first down.
Oh, what a nice move he put on Eric King out in the open field. Just a little dump off by Jamarcus Russell as he extends the play. Ronald Curry working his way back to his quarterback and then puts on a heck of a move to Eric King in the open field. Breaks contain, eyes downfield, finds his receiver. Look at this one. Whoop, he was already going backwards on the first wiggle.
Curry gained 12. Raiders on the move from the Titans 27. McFadden back in. Off the fake to McFadden. Russell fires, and the catch is made by Miller. Zach Miller down to the Titans 12. Another Raiders first down.
We talked about those interior linemen and those defensive ends really not getting a lot of pressure on Russell right now. He's standing back in that pocket. He's gaining confidence. Moose, that could be a recipe for disaster if the Tennessee Titans don't get any pressure on this kid.
No, you can see the arm strength he has, and Zach Miller's coming across that middle. The other thing, Tony, he's so tall and that release point is so high. You wonder how many times they're going to have an opportunity to even bat a ball down in those passing lanes if they don't get there.
Russell 6'6", 1st and 10 from the 13. Play action, and the pass is caught by the fullback out of Arkansas State in his 2nd season, Orrin O'Neal, for a gain of 3.
Stephen Tulloch on the tackle, another guy that's kind of jumped out for the Tennessee Titans in training camp. Special teams guy, but coming in, pushing those linebackers. He's going to be the first guy in off the bench at any 3 of the linebacker spots for the Tennessee Titans this fall.
Time winding down in this first quarter. 2nd and 7 for the Raiders from the Tennessee 10. to beat the clock, so the teams will
This is
head down to the other end of the field with no score after one quarter here in Nashville, Tennessee. This Fox NFL special will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Back in Nashville as we get set for quarter number 2. Kenny Albert with Darryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa, and Chris Myers. Jamarcus Russell. Darryl has completed his last 5 pass attempts. He's 4 for 4 for 51 yards on this drive.
Looks really comfortable, getting some good protection from his guys up front, and again taking advantage of that strong running game, mixing in a little bit of play action and getting Jamarcus Russell out on the perimeter.
Second down and 7 from the Titans 10 off the fake to McFadden. Russell directing traffic. He throws, intended for Drew Carter. Michael Griffin on the coverage for the Titans.
That's a great combination for this offense when you can run the ball effectively and get defensive flow going one way and then bring Jamarcus Russell out the back door. They're going to have some opportunities. Very good coverage by the Tennessee Titans on that play. Didn't really have anywhere to go. So as well as the execution was, they adjusted well, got back onto their guys.
Russell's first incompletion, his last 6 pass attempts. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 7. 4 receivers set. Russell escapes from Hainsworth. He throws, and a diving catch is made for a touchdown by Zach Miller.
Wow. What a nice catch. A nice field by Jamarcus Russell in the pocket. He hung in there as long as he could. Some good protection with some twists going on up front by that Tennessee Titan defensive line. Breaks contained. Zach Miller sees his quarterback's in trouble. He's moving this way. I got to get over. Keith Bullock just a step away from knocking that ball away. That's a small window to make that throw. Jamarcus Russell threads it in there.
Bullock shaken up. Aaron Elling replacing the injured Sebastian Janikowski. And Elling adds the extra point. So on the second play of the second quarter, it's Russell to Miller. 7-0 Raiders. The Raiders scoring drive, 6 plays, 61 yards. Jamarcus Russell 5 for 6 on the drive.
Well, you know, who says the Oakland Raiders can't throw it around, move the ball? That was a nice drive by that group. And one of the things they're doing a great job of, and I guarantee you that both Greg Knapp and Lane Kiffin are very impressed with the play of their tackles. We talked about Javon Curse and Kyle Vanden Bosch, Albert Hainsworth. Jamarcus Russell is being protected very well. I think he was concerned about his matchups with his tackles on those ends.
First-round draft pick Chris Johnson had some trouble fielding the kickoff from Aaron Elling, so the Titans will start from their own 20.
Albert Hainsworth is inside. He's going to come on the twist. You're going to see him come around this way. Now, Goose, you think he got a little bit too tight on that twist.
Yeah, I think he needs right here to come outside here. You have 2 guys, 2 defenders right there that are going to try and block him. Now he keeps him in the pocket. Now all your rest of your guys that are going to come and chase him down. You can't let him go and come out of the pocket like that, because then he has all day to go and find a receiver.
Oh! It's a nice catch by Zach Miller.
Starters remain in for the Titans on offense. Most of the starters for the Raiders on defense. 1st and 10 from the 20 as Lendell White takes the handoff from Vince Young and gains 2 out to the 22-yard line.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens on this next series. Keith Bullock,
designated defensive player with the green sticker and the communication device, the speakers in his helmet. 2nd down and 8. Young, just engaged. Nice catch by the former Chicago Bear, and he picks up a 1st down out across the 40, a gain of 18 yards.
Now that was a really nice catch, because he's got Chris Johnson right there on that ball. Thrown a little bit on that back shoulder. Justin Gage goes back and pulls it in.
And there is Rob Ryan communicating with Kirk Morrison, number 52.
You know, talking about the communications, that's the one difference. All the quarterbacks get to go and have the communications, but only 2 guys on defense. So if they both get hurt, I I guess you get no communications on defense anymore.
They're out of luck. Dump off intended for White. There's a flag in the defensive secondary.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 26 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Stanford route. So each team must designate 2 defensive men without the speakers. First and 10 from the 45. Following the penalty, 4 flags.
Delay a game. Defense. Number 26. Made a move attempting to make the offensive man false start. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Stanford route again.
And throw with his momentum going forward.
Vince Younggoose excited to work with Heimerdinger, who is back in Tennessee after spending a year with the Jets and 2 with the Denver Broncos. White down to the 46-yard line. Steve McNair, Darryl, had some of his best years, including a co-MVP season back in 2003.
Play somebody like the Oakland Raiders, Mike Heimerdinger is going to know what Rob Ryan likes to do.
Young on 2nd and 1. Broken up by Stanford route, who was flagged twice earlier on this drive. And Rob Ryan conversely told us, Darryl, Heimerdinger's offense is perfect for Vince Young.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And you utilize the abilities that he has, and you can see the progressions that he's made. And we had an opportunity to do his first start here in Tennessee against the Dallas Cowboys a couple seasons ago. And he's really progressed along those lines. And I think now with Mike Heimerdinger in there, the way he structures his offense, the plays that he has, I think they really fit the strengths of what Vince Young brings to the table as a quarterback.
There's Lendell White on 3rd and 1. He fights his way for a first down inside the 45, down to the Raiders 43. Well, Mike
2004, so not all Mike Heimerdinger, not a knock on Norm Chow, the coordinator who was here after that, but he had a lot of talent to work with in the early part of 2000.
Young escapes with his feet and gains 4 down to the 39-yard line. Norm Chow, now the offensive coordinator under Rick Neuheisel at UCLA. Than we did in 2007.
And that'll be tough. They play in a very difficult division. I know a lot of people talk about the NFC East, but record for record, the AFC South stronger than the NFC last year.
White bottled up on 2nd and 6. Amazingly, the combined records of the 4 teams, Darryl, last year in the AFC South, 42 and 22 winning percentage. Best in any division since the merger. Since the merger back in 1970, the 2007 AFC South, the best combined winning percentage for one division.
And that will make their road back to the play.
Colts, Jaguars, and Titans all made it to the playoffs out of the South last season. 3rd down and 7. 3 receivers set. Young out of the shotgun. Young steps up, had his pass batted at the line and nearly intercepted. The ruling is the ball hit the ground. Nice effort by Kirk Morrison.
I'm surprised they didn't call offsides on the left tackle on this play.
Well, he did a nice job of feeling that pressure coming from the outside, but then as he steps up, Terdell Sands is there to get his hands up and knock that ball away.
I think those speakers, Goose, weighed Morrison down as he tried to make the pick.
Every pound counts. Trust me.
So Craig Hentrick at his own 46. Stepping up, hunting for midfield to Johnny Lee Higgins, who calls for a fair catch at the 15-yard line. Early 2nd quarter, 7-0 Raiders. Tennessee Raiders leading the Titans 7-0 as we welcome you back to Marcus Russell off to a terrific start.
He really is. I think the whole Oakland Raider offense, because I think Lane Kiffin was kind of, anxious about how his team was going to perform. This Tennessee Titans defense, we mentioned it, 5th overall in the NFL last year, very physical up front, good in the secondary. He was nervous about how they were going to perform. I think up until this point, he has to be very pleased with what they've done. Marcus Russell has thrown the ball well. His offensive line has protected him. They've run the ball effectively at times. So I think that this, up until this point, has been a good performance by this Raiders offense.
Russell played in 4 regular season games last year, starting just 1. 1st and 10 from the 15 off the play fake. Russell over the top to McFadden, and he's met immediately. Brought down at the 19-yard line by Stephen Tulloch as we check in with Tony.
It's just nice to be.
Myers cannot wear a headset.
No, he's out.
McFadden, penalty marker. Tulloch, another tackle.
Holding, number 76 offense. Half the distance to the goal, repeat 2nd down.
Not sure if Chris Myers is wearing the green sticker on the back of his.
Hall, new corner addition from Atlanta with the Raiders here, out for tonight, but we'll be ready for the opening of the regular season. And you were just telling me, and it's your right hand, that you got an update at least on the injury.
Yeah. I sent out a workout to Dr. Andrews from Birmingham, Alabama, and basically what I did was no breaks. I got a little torn tendon in there, but just gonna take time to heal. I've been practicing on it. Played the first game on it, so I feel pretty good, and I'll definitely be ready for the game.
Just an observation, you get to see a guy like Jamarcus Russell in practice. They talk about how strong his arm is, and you're up 7-0. Some thoughts?
The kid is getting his confidence going. He's rolling right now. That's all. That's all we need. Defense needs to go out there and make plays, get the ball to him as much as we can, and man, each game he'll continue to get more and more confidence.
Daryl Johnston talked about this secondary and the expectations when everybody is healthy. Could be one of the best in the league. You agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the plan. That's the plan, to just go out there, make as many plays as we can. Obviously, I feel like Nami's one of the top corners in the league. I feel the same way about myself. So, we're just gonna have a friendly competition amongst each other and just try to make as many plays as possible.
All right, have a great season, D'Angelo. Thanks. All right, and he will be ready opening day. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Chris. D'Angelo Hall, the former Falcon, 2-time Pro Bowler, his first 4 NFL seasons. I think
Ball start, number 77 offense. Half the distance to the goal, 3rd down.
It's a great time to bring some pressure up front.
3rd down and 20. The toss to McFadden coming out of the end zone. And McFadden works his way across the 10-yard line, but the Raiders will punt it away.
A nice safe play. Get yourself, your full allotment of yards to do your punt at the right distance. You get backed up real deep in your territory. You need about 14, 15. Oakland Raider fans are like, what kind of call is that on 3rd and 20? Safe, but it gives your punter an opportunity to execute.
Back a look. Wow, coming out of his own end zone. What a kick. Bomb. What a punt, forcing Lavelle Hawkins all the way back to the 20. And Hawkins with a nice return, 14 yards, out to the 34. A 71-yard punt by Pakaluk, who was signed 2 days ago. Niners and the Bears on Fox. Titans 1st and 10 from their own 34. Vince Young incomplete, looking for Justin Gage. Keith Bullock shaken up earlier in this quarter. Colin Allred also came out during that last series while Chris Myers was chatting with D'Angelo Hall. So injury suffered by both Titans, designated with the green sticker to use the communication device on defense.
Back to the old school way.
That didn't take long. 2nd and 10 off the fingertips of Gage. 3rd down and 10 coming up for the Titans.
What they're trying to find out tonight is how do they execute in the passing game, and that's why you got a couple 3 and outs there, a little bit sketchy right now throwing the ball.
3 wide receivers set. Young with time, and again looking for Justin Gage. Titans go 3 and out again.
Yeah, it looks like his timing's really off. He's down here on the field. Looks like he's got plenty of time in the pocket. His receivers have openings, but it seems like he's waiting a little too long. You know, in the NFL, receivers become open, and all of a sudden now they're covered in a split second. You got to anticipate, and I think that's something right now that he is not doing.
Yeah, receivers to know that they're going to go in there and get the ball. If you wait for somebody to get open in the NFL, it's just not going to happen very often.
Hendrick punting for the 4th time. Taken at the 21 by Johnny Lee Higgins. And Higgins tackled at the 24 after a return of just 3 yards. 45-yard punt by Hendrick.
With Marvin Harris and Dwight Freeney coming back to start the season. Peyton Manning's battling a little bit of an infection after a surgery, so they could get off to a slow start this year, not having some of their big guns in there during training camp. So maybe there's a change at the top in this division, but it will still be very difficult top to bottom.
And the Titans will begin their regular season at home against Jacksonville. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. DeMarcus Russell handing off to Darren McFadden, and he's hit for a loss. William Hayes, the rookie 4th-round pick out of Winston-Salem State, hitting McFadden for a loss of a yard.
The rest of that division, Andre Johnson, you saw the Houston Texans at 8-8. When he is in the lineup, that is a very explosive offensive team. David Garrard, now the starter, came in last year for Byron Leftwich after a couple of games, really solidified that position. So, you know, there's your other group. It's just a top to bottom, just a tough division. They all play very physical styles of football. It's going to be fun to watch it.
Off the play fake. Pass intended for O'Neal, the fullback, and he took a big hit from Colin Allred wearing that green sticker, who's back in the game, shaken up on the last Oakland drive.
He's back all right.
Midway through the 2nd quarter here in Nashville. 7-0 Raiders. 3 wide receivers. 3rd down and 11. Raiders have to get to the 34 for 1st down. Some miscommunication. That pass well behind the intended receiver, Johnny Lee Higgins.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell's throwing the comeback. Johnny Lee Higgins is running the deep end, so not on the same page right there. We'll be able to tell who it is when they get over to Greg Knapp on the sideline.
He was yelling Johnny. I don't know what that means.
I'm going to go with number 15 then. You see the ball go whizzing by on that comeback. Oh, was I supposed to be outside?
Yeah, you see all them safeties inside there. You don't want to be turning into the safeties. You want to go away from those guys.
Pakalek's last punt, 71 yards. This one not as deep, but it takes a Raiders bounce. This is Hawkins, the rookie out of Cal. 2 flags as Hawkins is taken down at the 37-yard line. That punt 53 yards by Pakalek, a 13-yard return.
What was that guy doing out on the street?
Wow.
The proof is going to be those cameras in the sky, because they're going to see exactly what you did. If you were wrong, you tried to sell it, this coach is not going to be happy.
Deuce Kerry Collins, the former Raider, now in at quarterback, and he hands it off to Chris Johnson, who breaks free up the sideline. Johnson last week, a 66-yard run against the Rams, picks up a 1st down, gains 15 on that play. So Kerry Collins started 28 games for the Raiders during the 04 and 05 seasons, replacing Vince Young late in the 2nd quarter. Young just 4 of 13 in the game tonight.
Yeah, tough outing. Again, a lot of those mechanics we're talking about, and Tony showed you a little package there. He's throwing off the back foot yet. He's getting a better feel in the pocket. He's shuffling. He's moving around. Not looking to run the ball, but, you know, still a little bit of work to do on those mechanics.
From the 29, this is Johnson again. And Chris Johnson showing that burst. He was the fastest player at the combine, the rookie combine, during the offseason, and Johnson gained.
Stadium starts going, waiting for that big break touchdown run.
There's Johnson again, this time a gain of just 2 out across the 45. He was the 24th overall pick in the first to the meal.
I don't think on a bicycle I could run that like
Who's Mike?
Mike's down here with me.
Thanks for the clarification. 5 minutes to go, second quarter. Here's Johnson. Down to the 48-yard line.
I liked his answer to the question when we talked to him about, what's the biggest challenge for you at the NFL level? What have you noticed that's really different from college? And a lot of guys, they struggle with the pass protection. And for him, he's there. So, he's already in a position where, if I get a big linebacker coming off the edge, I'm good with that. I'm okay. I have confidence in my abilities. And sometimes for a young running back, it's not just the schemes, it's also the execution of the block.
4th down and 6. Collins' pass a bit high. The intended receiver, Paul Williams, who committed that penalty on the punt moments ago.
We'll take a look at it. He's got the penalty on special teams, and you got to make these catches. You got to make these couple opportunities. Not making the best one right there. He's got another one working on the outside here on punt coverage.
Hendrick punting for the 5th time. Comes down at the 6 to Higgins. Terrific coverage downfield by the Titans on special teams. The ball is loose. Touchdown! Recovered in the end zone by Ahmad Hall.
Johnny Lee Higgins. After everything you did last week, you gained your trust back with the coaches. You put the ball on the ground a couple of times last year. Last week, you come out, you run one back, you have another big return. First mistake, don't field the ball inside the 8-yard line. Every special teams coach has a line you draw in the sand. You either catch the ball with a fair catch or you let it go and hope it goes into the end zone. You do not catch the ball inside that mark. And now you got to know it's a bad play. I made a mistake. Don't take a bad play and make it a catastrophic play by fumbling into the end zone.
It was knocked free by Vincent Fuller. Recovered in the end zone by Ahmad Hall. The extra point by Vaughn is good. So the Tennessee Titans. But his miscue on special teams has led to the Titans' first touchdown of the game.
He's got to forget about it. It's over with. You made a mistake. It cost your team points. Don't press now. Don't let that play affect your play the rest of this game. Let it go, Johnny Lee Higgins. Just play your game.
Higgins back deep to receive the Vaughn kickoff. Short kick by Vaughn. And it's taken at the 25-yard line and returned by a backup offensive lineman, Paul McQuiston. McQuiston says, look what I found.
Did he try and signal for a fair catch?
I don't know, but he should have went down. First thing they teach those big guys, when that ball comes to you, hold on to it, get down on the ground. Don't try to advance it. It's a big man, too. Ooh.
There's a penalty. Personal foul against the tight position for the Raiders. Following the penalty, they will start at their own 42. And we will have our first look today at Michael Bush, the back out of Louisville.
Oh, what a great story he is. Real happy to see him have a great game back last week.
The end around to Johnny Lee Higgins. So the Raiders put the ball right back in his hands.
I really like that call by Greg Knapp. You know, he's got to be just devastated with the play that he had. Give him another shot, get it out, get it into his hands right away. You know, he doesn't get it on the kickoff, so you come out and you call the reverse.
Higgins gained 8 yards on the play.
That ball is still out there, though. You saw that run. That ball, he's got to tuck that ball up tighter with that elbow tight to his body in order to not let those defenders go and reach in there. That ball could come out again if he runs like that.
And Goose, Michael Bush picks up a first down. He was injured. He broke his leg. First game of his senior season in Louisville. Had another year of eligibility, did not use it, entered the draft.
Oakland gets him in the 4th round. Lane Kiffin likened him to Lendale White, who he had at USC. He's a big back, physical, short yardage, goal line runner, but with great vision running between the tackles.
From the 45, off the play fake to Bush. Russell, complete to the tight end Miller, and he's wrapped up, taken down at the 43-yard line by Stanford Keglar. And you look at the Raiders depth chart at running back: Justin Fargas, Darren McFadden, Michael Bush. And due to that depth, Lane Kiffin told us earlier today, I don't foresee us being a passing team this season.
Well, you know, you've got your offensive linemen in the same system for 2 years. They ran the ball well last year. They're more explosive this year. Yeah, you're going to sprinkle in the pass, some play action, but their success will be determined on how well they run the ball.
Russell under pressure. He throws it away. He was being chased by Sean Conover out of Bucknell University, where he played for Tim Landis, the brother of our producer Barry Landis.
I wonder if he's got his engineering degree.
From the 43-yard line, as we approach the 2-minute warning here in Nashville, tied at 7. 3 wide receivers set for the Raiders. Russell under pressure. Down he goes. Reynaldo Hill, the 4th-year corner out of the University of Florida, taking down Jamarcus Russell from behind.
That's one of the things you learn at this level. You cannot outrun the blitz. It's going to come from this side. Jamarcus Russell turns to get outside, but he's not going to outrun Reynaldo Hill.
2-minute warning here in Nashville. Raiders in the 2nd quarter to tight end Zach Miller. Titans tied the score moments ago. Glenn Hakalak punting for the 6th time in this first half. Lavelle Hawkins lets it bounce, and it is down at the 15-yard line with 1:52 remaining in quarter. Big LT.
How you feeling this season? You got 31 in you again?
Inside handoff, and Chris Johnson picks up another Titans first down out to the 29-yard line. Clock continues to run. Titans up to the line quickly. Second series for Kerry Collins, and the pass intended for Paul Williams, incomplete. Chris Johnson, the Raiders' Chris Johnson, on the coverage.
We got to have a Chris Johnson.
Johnson on each side. The Titans have 2 wide receivers named Chris Davis. The Titans have 4 players with the last name Williams.
Love preseason. Love it.
4 wide receivers. And Cordell Sands a bit anxious.
False start, number 67 offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Isaac Snell forces the Titans back 5 yards. 2nd down and 15. Collins out of the shotgun. Collins looking for Johnson out of the backfield, incomplete.
John Olsen did a great job.
Now 3rd down and 15. Titans have to get to the 38 for a first down. Collins steps up and throws, and the catch is made for a Tennessee first down by the tight end Bo Scaife, his 3rd reception today.
How about our number 8? That was an Achilles heel for the Oakland Raiders last year. They could not get off the field.
22 yards from Collins to Scaife on first down. Collins that time looking for Byron Ely, but the 2nd-year receiver out of the University of Houston slipped. So the clock's quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks who switched teams at the end of their careers. Lavelle Hawkins, the intended receiver, 48 seconds remaining, and a 3rd down and 10 coming up for Tennessee. I'll give you a hint. One of them played right here in this stadium for the home team. Led the Titans to a Super Bowl appearance following the '99 season. First down, Collins showing a nice soft touch, connecting with Ely. 17 years. December, Giants and Bills, when Tony quickly found his way to the booth for the first time during the second quarter thunderstorm. Johnson tackled from behind at the 40-yard line. Nice play by Ricky Brown to bring down Chris Johnson.
Yeah, a nice show of speed by Ricky Brown on that. Everybody talks about the New England Patriots game and the finale. I say it was the second half of that Buffalo game the week before. The light bulb went on then.
Collins over the middle, incomplete. And remember, Kerry Collins, the Giants quarterback, prior to the selection of Eli Manning. Play for the Titans. Collins airing it out. It is picked off by Chris Johnson, but it was a free play for Tennessee following the penalty markers.
Oh, that was classic.
Offside. Number 95 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Josh Shaw.
What?
They don't understand. Don't touch those defensive linemen, man. It's like a trigger.
Where do you see the look that he gives John Alston when he pushes him? He's over there telling him right now, "That was not my fault. John pushed me in the back." Watch him come running up right here and give him a little. What are you doing? Now I'm going to get yelled at.
You got to keep doesn't count, doesn't matter.
That ever happened to you, Goose?
Yeah, a couple times it has. John Elway used to get us all the time with those hard counts, getting a free play, and all of a sudden he's launching one downfield. Tough.
That pass high intended for Ely.
I missed you guys too.
4th down and 8. Collins under pressure, throws it away.
You know, that's an offense.
Down to 9 seconds remaining in the first half here in Nashville. Russell out of the shotgun from the 36. Hand off to McFadden. And Darren McFadden into Titans territory and is taken down from behind.
They get the timeout call?
At the 39-yard line, yes. 1 second remaining in the half. A 25-yard run by McFadden. Eric King brought him down from behind.
Maybe 5 throws.
Maybe 5. Wind at my back?
So now a 56-yard field goal attempt. Aaron Elling. And a timeout called by the Titans. He's already sold it. 56-yard attempt. Aaron Elling, Jeff Otis the holder.
He's got it.
Elling's kick is good.
Nice.
Wow, that is going to just infuriate Jeff Fisher, the way that half ended. I mean, you got 9 seconds left, a little inside handoff, 25 yards later, 1 second, you get 3 points. Points are at a premium, and you cannot let something like that happen at the end of a half.
So Elling filling in for the injured Janikowski connects from 56 yards out, giving the Raiders a 10-7 lead over the Tennessee Titans. Coming up, the Visa halftime report with Chris Myers after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. The end of the first half, if this were the regular season, that would have been a franchise record. The Raiders' franchise record is a 55-yarder twice by Sebastian Janikowski.
That's no good for Aaron Elling.
Elling's kickoff taken by Chris Johnson coming out of the end zone. And Johnson takes it out close to the 30. So Darryl, you think back to the beginning of this game, the Titans won the toss. They elected to defer, so they now get the ball as we start the second half.
Yeah, and I like that. You play against a very physical Tennessee Titan team on both sides of the ball. You know, defending the run and running the ball, and I think he has to be pleasantly surprised.
Kerry Collins remains in at quarterback, handing it off to Johnson. Hit at the line, no gain on the play. We take a look at the first half numbers. The only turnover was the fumble on the punt return by Higgins, recovered in the end zone for the Titans' only touchdown.
Yeah, directly to points. You know, tough play for Johnny Lee Higgins.
Here's Higgins. Collins on 2nd and 10, swings it out, but could not make the connection with Johnson. Chris Johnson in the first half averaged over 7 yards per carry. 6 carries, 44 yards. 3rd and 10 coming up. Goose, your thoughts on the first 30 minutes?
I thought so. And he says, listen, they're working on it in camp, and he's getting better every day. But really didn't really want to talk about it too much. Also asked him about Chris Johnson, and he says his patience is really what helps him out there. He has great vision downfield, and at any time he has the ball in his hands, he can go and break one. And he's really happy with what he's done in camp so far.
Kerry Collins connecting with Lavelle Hawkins, 19 yards and a Titans first down.
Well, Lavelle Hawkins is one of those guys, trying to find his way into that wide receiver rotation, looking for that 3rd, 4th, possibly 5th guy.
From the 47, the handoff to Johnson. And Johnson takes it up to the 49-yard line, a gain of 2.
I was surprised. I agree with Tony. I was surprised to see Jamarcus Russell really come out and, in my opinion, outplay Vince Young in the first half of that football game. We talked about this really being his first training camp. Held out all last year, got signed late in the season, played a little bit in the regular season, but I thought he played well. I thought he made some good decisions, made some good throws. So, kind of surprised to see, Vince struggle a little bit with his accuracy this evening.
That's their first charge. Timeout.
Timeout called by the Raiders. Early 3rd quarter here in Nashville. Week 2 of the preseason. It's Lane Kiffin's Raiders leading by 3. Chris Myers. A look at Jamarcus Russell's numbers in the first half. 10 of 17. 75 yards. And a touchdown throw to Zach Miller. Vince Young just 4 of 13.
Now he struggled a little bit tonight. And, it's a tough balancing act because, Tennessee, the way they run the football is going to be able to run a lot of play action, but they've also got to incorporate shotgun. So now you're talking about, the shotgun running game to have play action off that, so you're not always under center. So Mike Heimerdinger's, he's going to be a tough balancing act for the year.
Collins going deep, and the catch is made by Hawkins. Lavelle Hawkins into the end zone, touchdown.
Well, there's one of the guys that's in that mix at wide receiver. Byron Ely, Paul Williams, they've had their opportunity. Lavelle Hawkins making the best of his right there with a big touchdown catch. Nice throw by Kerry Collins. Nice catch and run afterwards by Lavelle Hawkins, finding his way into the end zone.
Hawkins doing it against his hometown team. Grew up in Oakland, attended Cal, 4th round pick. 51 yards, Collins to Hawkins. 14-10 Titans. Not of a catch in last week's win over St. Louis. First, a 19-yard reception on 3rd and 8 to keep the drive alive, and then the 51-yard touchdown reception from Kerry Collins.
Yeah, and I think that Mike Heimerdinger and Jeff Fisher wanted to take a look at him in the passing game tonight. You mentioned he played last week, but they were running the ball so much they got to see what he was like as a blocker. But tonight they're getting to find out what he's like as a receiver.
And now, Darryl, it's the Raiders. Chris Johnson on the return. He fumbles. Titans say they have it. Officials will try and get to the bottom of the pile. It's the 2nd fumble on special teams by the Raiders tonight.
I think the thing Lane Kiffin was most impressed by his team in their first preseason game victory over San Francisco is they were +4 in turnover ratio. Wow, somebody went into the bottom of that pile for the Raiders and dug it out, because that should have been recovered by the Titans. Look at how loose that ball is. No, no, no. Inside arm, in traffic. Caused by the ground anyways, so even if they reviewed it. But somebody hustled in there. You can see right there, Vince Fuller, he should have that ball.
That's where men are men down in those piles, man. That's where it all happens. You remember those moves, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Little pinching, scratching going on.
A little poke in the eye sometimes.
Sounds like fun. Andrew Walter now in at quarterback for the Raiders. And a handoff on first down to Michael Bush. And Bush picks up a first down and more as he gains 15 yards. So Andrew Walter, looks like he might be having trouble hearing the signals into his helmet as he wanders over towards the sidelines. He started 8 games for the Raiders 2 years ago. In 2006, saw limited action in just 1 game last season.
Yeah, but statistically put up the best stats in preseason going into last season. So I think you talk to Andrew Walter, he's kind of surprised he's still a Raider.
There's Bush again. He did not have very many good things to say about the previous regime.
No, he was very outspoken. But, you know, you hear that from a couple of the Raiders about the difference in what Lane Kiffin and his staff have done in their short time there. Jake Grove, another guy who, you know, was part of the previous regimes, not just one, but multiple. And, you know, just he said there's a different atmosphere. I mean, this is a franchise that's had a tough go of it the last 5 years.
2nd and 3. Jake Grove, by the way, now in at center. He and John Wade in a battle for the starting spot. Wade, the former Jaguar and Buccaneer. Well, you talk about not only the prior regime, but since Jeff Fisher took over this franchise in Houston late in the '94 season, the Raiders have gone through 7 different head coaches.
It's impossible to establish any type of continuity under those circumstances. And, you know, for your players to take the next step, they have to be in a system for a couple of years to understand the nuances and the subtleties of it. And it's not going to happen when you're changing your head coach that often, because more times than not, you've got different coordinators coming in with the head coach. So you've got guys playing in multiple offenses, multiple defenses, different terminology, different philosophies, different verbiage. It's tough to have success under those conditions.
Bush stopped just short on 3rd and 1. So the Raiders now facing a 4th and inches from just outside the 45-yard line. Bush, the lone back. 2 tight ends. Walter on the quarterback sneak. And Andrew Walter looks to have a Raiders first down. Raiders went to the Super Bowl following the 0-2 season, but they have not had a winning season since. They have not won more than 5 games in any one season since then. Over the last 5 years, only 19 wins combined.
I mean, that's less than 4 wins a season, and that is tough. And you know, Al Davis has made the trip in here this evening, and you know, he's hoping to get this thing turned around. And the word you get thrown around now is hope. You know, there's kind of hope for the first time in 5 years for this group. And you know, you saw Chris Myers talking to D'Angelo Hall. They brought in Jabril Wilson, Javon Walker. You know, Michael Bush is healthy. You know, they got Napoleon Kaufman, Napoleon. Darren McFadden. Where did that one come from? They're showing my age.
Blast to the past.
Too many hits in the head, Goose. Jamarcus Russell. It's just, you know, they've got some good players. And, you know, there's a positive feel for the first time in a long time for this Raider team.
Well, Al Davis has to make a commitment to Lane. Just say, hey, listen, you're going to be my guy. And like you talked about earlier, Bruce, it's continuity. I mean, if you don't play with guys for a while and you learn the system, I mean, the next thing that happens is it comes second nature. And that's when you can go out there and perform and really turn it on. Lane Kiffin really needs to go and have some time there. He's doing the right things. He's bringing the right guys in, talking to the players. They're happy. You know, that's all a part of it. But you, like you talked about earlier, continuity and time. You got to give the guy time to go and do what he needs to do.
Lane Kiffin, 33 years of age when he was named Raiders head coach. He was 31, youngest head coach in modern NFL history. Inside handoff to Bush on 3rd and 9. And he stopped about 4 yards shy of the marker at the Titans' 39-yard line. So the Raiders now facing a 4th down and 4. And it looks like they will go for it, despite the 56-yard field goal from Aaron Elling
Yeah, well,
tonight.
This one might be 57, and you pointed out it doesn't go in the record books. And this is one of those circumstances, specialty plays during the course of the year that you love to get game speed practice at. You can't simulate this back in training camp.
3 wide receivers. Quick release by Walter. Pass is incomplete. The intended receiver was Johnny Lee Higgins. So the Raiders turn it over on downs. Titans lead by 4. We will return to Nashville in 90 seconds. The Raiders 14-10. Raiders turn the ball over on downs, so good starting field position for Kerry Collins and the Tennessee Titans. From their own 40-yard line, Chris Henry now in the backfield for Tennessee. And the handoff to Henry. And Henry found a big hole, and he is into Raiders territory. Takes it 20 yards down to the Oakland 40 before he was finally tackled by Sam Williams. From Chris Henry downstairs to Chris Myers. Chris?
And thanks, Vince Young, smiling. You like it.
Coach said we was going to get a lot of passing, and I did a pretty good job. I didn't complete them, but what Coach said, I went through my right reads, and we just got to continue to keep working during the week. That's all.
What's the greatest challenge for you in that? I know they've talked about certain footwork. Obviously, you can take off and run when you need to.
Right. Just continue reading the defense. That's the biggest thing. Finding out what my 1, 2, 3.
Drafting Chris Johnson, who we've seen, Algie Crumpler, we didn't see a lot of tonight, but that has to help, with this offense, and you move even further.
Right. Not showing a lot of different things that we got in our package in our offense. We just got to stay with the offensive scheme, that what we want to do out here today. But when the season go on and on, y'all gonna see a whole lot more of myself, as well as a lot of the weapons that we have on our team. To finish up, and then vice versa, to get my butt back here and get to work and get to with a fine offensive coordinator like Hamidine.
Well, thanks for your time, Vince. Have a great season. All right.
Thanks. No problem.
All right, thanks, Chris. Here's Collins to the outside on 3rd and 10. He was looking for Lavelle Hawkins, who scored the Titans' touchdown on their last drive.
You heard Vince Young. What I liked about that, I went back and I got my degree because it was important for me to be a good role model for the kids out there. And I live in the Dallas area, and it's amazing how many kids you see walking around still with a Vince Young jersey from the University of Texas. So, one of the good guys in the NFL. As a father or a mother, you can look at this guy and your kids want to wear a Vince Young jersey. Good for him. Wow, he sets a good example.
Great job by Vince commuting back and forth between Austin and Nashville during the offseason. First punt for 12-year veteran Josh Miller. Fair catch called for by Johnny Lee Higgins. Craig Hentrick handled the punting in the first half for the Titans, who lead the Raiders by 4 in 15 years.
Heck of a run. I know Goose is sweating it right now.
Goose's Mets are in first place in the National League East.
That's it. Playing well. They're playing well.
Penalty markers on first down. Andrew Walter remaining in at quarterback for the Raiders.
We had Brian Snyder, the catcher.
Offside. Number 99 defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Last year at the Detroit game, we had Brian Snyder on the sideline. He did a great job this year catching and got a nice hot bat. He's playing very well there, Kenny.
Did a great job as your assistant producer in Detroit last year, and he was still a member of the Washington Nationals at the time. A week later, the big trade to the New York Mets.
We were trying to get him here at Fox, just couldn't come up with the right dough, and the Mets are very happy with him in New York.
Maybe next year. Push. Out to the 15-yard line. Under 6 minutes remaining. Third quarter here in Nashville. Look ahead at the Raiders regular season schedule. They will open on Monday night against Denver, and then head on the road for a couple of games at Kansas City, at Buffalo. So a divisional matchup on Monday night, week 1. For the Raiders, who won just 4 games a year ago. Michael Bush. And Bush picks up a first down out to the 26-yard line.
I think teams within this division better take notice, because this is not the same Raider team from last year. Not what I'm seeing tonight. You see there at 4-12 down at the bottom with Kansas City. So you start out, you know, at Denver 7-9, and then you go to Kansas City. So tough start within the division, but you know, this is a team, you know, I think a lot of people forget early on, 2-2. You know, they're at 500 and then just hit the skids and had a tough close. You know, they get off to a good start this year. I think it'll be a different situation.
Walter hitting Lewis Rankin out of the backfield. Rankin had a big game last week, gained 91 yards on the ground. He's a rookie out of the University of Washington. And Rankin gains 6. Well, the Raiders division rivals, the San Diego Chargers, made it all the way to the AFC Championship game a year ago.
Yeah, and I had an opportunity to do the Dallas-San Diego game last week, and you know, to see Phillip Rivers back playing after coming back from that torn ACL. The big concern, Antonio Gates, you know, coming back from that foot injury that he sustained in the playoffs last year. Is he going to be ready for the opener? But boy, that is a pretty potent roster. They look good against the Dallas Cowboys in their first preseason game. So San Diego Chargers still the team to beat out in the AFC West.
A couple of young quarterbacks in both Denver and Kansas City, and Jay Cutler and Brody Croyle.
I think bringing Chan Gailey into Kansas City to be the coordinator fits Brody Croyle's style. So it'll be interesting to see how his production changes from last year. And you know, Jay Cutler, you know, we had an opportunity to see him play a couple of years ago in his rookie season, and he's a good prospect. So.
Another end around to Johnny Lee Higgins, and Higgins is cut down at the 36-yard line. Gain of just 1 on the play. Higgins, again, in case you joined us late, fumbled a punt return, which was recovered in the end zone by Ahmad Hall for the Titans' first touchdown. And offensive coordinator Greg Knapp has now looked to get the ball into Higgins' hands twice following his miscue.
Well, they lost their return guy from last season to Tennessee. Chris Carr left in free agency, so that's one of those spots they're trying to fill. And I bet you if you talk to Greg Knapp and Lane Kiffin, they probably really don't want to put Darren McFadden back there on kickoff returns. So they're hoping one of these young guys steps up to be the return guy that they can count on. The big thing is where he fielded the ball. I mean, he's almost at the 5-yard line. And as a punt returner, you have a line that you don't back in behind. And for us, it was the 8-yard line. You stood at the 8-yard line, and you either fair caught it at the 8, or you let the ball go over your head, and hopefully it bounced into the end zone. And Johnny Lee Higgins drifted back to the 5, fielded the ball, and then tried to make something happen, and disaster ensued.
Walter with time. Incomplete, looking for John Madsen. Darryl, you mentioned Darren McFadden. He's standing by with Chris Myers. Chris?
Yeah, Kenny and Darryl, in fact, he was saying he had worked on kickoff returns in the NFL. You have enough to worry about settling in. How'd you feel there out in the first half? Looked like you're running the ball well.
I feel good after going against the defense like Tennessee. They have a very strong defensive line, good linebackers. You know, I feel good going out there, just being able to run the ball a little bit. I feel like that I took care of all my thing, all my blocking scheme. I picked up all my reads. So I feel like I did pretty good.
You come in as a top pick, a lot of money. Your teammates complimented the way you've handled the running back situation with Justin Fargas, Michael Bush. A real team player, even though obviously you want to carry the ball. Is there enough for all you?
That's something coming out of school. You know, I always share carries with Felix Jones. He was a great running back that I ran with in Arkansas. You know, so it's something I don't mind doing at all.
How about having a young quarterback like Jamarcus Russell in the huddle?
It's great being back there with him. You know, I played against him in school. You know, I'm very happy that I'm on the same team with him now. But, you know, he's a great quarterback. He sits back there. He goes through all his reads and progressions. You know, he makes the right decisions.
And what's the most fun you've had so far in the NFL?
Just being out here with the guys, you know, and, you know, they treat you like a little brother a little bit, but you enjoy it.
You have any goals for yourself for this first season?
For me, I just want to get out there, work hard, keep trying to learn all the blocking scheme things that we have going on, and just try to be successful.
All right, well, stay healthy. Have a great year. Thanks, Darren.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Darren McFadden.
Thanks, Chris. Walter looking to set up the screen. So Darren McFadden and Jamarcus Russell, rivals in the SEC, teammates in Oakland.
I think Fred Wakefield had a flashback to his days playing as a tight end right there. And he's got to realize that he's the offensive lineman now. Very versatile. He's played defensive end, defensive tackle, tight end. Now he's back on the offensive line, but he released on the screen. The ball was thrown low, and he's going down to pick it up on the old tight end screen. Oh, that's right. I'm a guard now. I forgot.
Now he's wearing 78. Used to wear 87 as a tight end. Third down and 10. Walter out of the shotgun. Walter throws, and a diving catch is made by Chaz Schillens, the rookie 7th-round draft pick out of San Diego State. Nice catch, nice effort, and he is close to a Raiders first down.
This is a real nice catch at the top of this. You know, it's thrown a little bit to the outside. You know, Chaz comes down and runs an in route that's thrown on the outside shoulder. Boy, he really extends and goes out and gets it.
Does a nice job of bringing it back to his body so the ball doesn't hit the ground where they would call it.
And by the nose of the football, Schillens picks up a first. And 10 from the Tennessee 44. Titans leading 14-10. Late third quarter here in Nashville. Bush in the backfield. And Bush takes the handoff from Walter and works his way down to the 42-yard line. And Goose, I know you'll be interested to know that one of the biggest Baltimore Raven fans in the world, Michael Phelps, won his 7th gold medal in Beijing by 1/100th of a second. He set an Olympic record, not a world record, but Phelps picking up his 7th gold medal in Beijing.
This was supposed to be his toughest one, right? This was the one that if he was going to get 8, I mean, the one he has next is a relay.
Here's Bush once again, and Goose, earlier in the week, after winning one of his prior gold medals, his sister tossed him a signed Baltimore Ravens jersey.
Yeah, I saw that. And, the photographers were actually asking him, you know, show us your medal, and he said, you know, Baltimore, the electricity, like when we won the Super Bowl, that city right now has that same electricity with him. And, what a great slur and a great kid.
Walter's pass is caught at the 33-yard line by Todd Watkins as time winds down, and that will do it for the third quarter here in Nashville. With the Raiders on the move, they trail by 4. This Fox NFL special will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. The Raiders 14-10. Raiders on the move at the Titans 33-yard line as we begin this fourth quarter. Andrew Walter remaining in at quarterback. Walter firing downfield, and a terrific catch is made. Again, it's Schillens who picked up a key first down earlier in this drive, and Schillens gains 24 yards.
There's a guy catching some eyes tonight. But a nice diving catch on the short route, now showing a little bit of courage, getting into the middle of the field, knows he's going to take a big hit. Donnie Nicky just slams him to the ground.
Second catch for Chaz Schillens. First and goal, Raiders from the 8. Bush the lone back. And penalty markers.
Ball start, number 85, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the tight end Madsen, who was injured in the third quarter. Back in the game, Madsen jumped early. Second preseason game for both clubs. Raiders beat the 49ers last Friday. They will host Arizona next Saturday. First and goal, Bush inside the 10-yard line. Impressive performance tonight by Michael Bush against Jeff Fisher's Titans. 60 yards on 14 carries.
Well, really the whole offense for the Raiders. And, you know, you match as you move back, you know, your depth. Offensive line, defensive line, as game wears on, you're going to have your second group in versus Tennessee's second group, and both groups have done a good job. And I've been impressed with Oakland's offensive line. I know there was some concern at the tackle spot and how they would perform against Kyle Vanden Bosch and Javon Curse with the starters, and I think they've been very productive all evening.
Walter hit from behind just as he got rid of the football. Dave Ball, who was out of football last season, former 4th-round pick of the San Diego Chargers.
And there's one of those concerns. It's going against Mario Henderson. You know, just beats him around the outside, gets to your quarterback's blind side. Mario Henderson, one of those guys that the Raiders were hoping to be able to count on to be a swing tackle, but he's had a tough go of it up until this point in camp.
16th play of the drive coming up. 3rd and goal for the Raiders from just inside the Titans 10. Walter backpedaling. He throws. It's complete to the fullback, O'Neal. He was down before he lost the football. He loses a yard on the play. So the Raiders will send out the field goal unit.
Well, just the first play of that series, you know, red zone penalties. It was only a 5-yarder, but it just, you know, you start off the series, so you start, you know, that drive, that portion of the drive with just a, you know, bad feeling. It's so tough in the red zone anyways. And then all of a sudden you're, you know, you're 1st and goal inside the 10, and now you get a 5-yard penalty.
So Aaron Elling, who spent 1 game with the Titans back in 2004, hit from 56 earlier. This one, a chip shot from the left hash, 27-yard attempt. Elling pulls the Raiders to within 1.
Gonna have a talk with Mario Henderson when he gets to the sideline.
Yet they come away with only 3 points.
Yeah, and the big problem is that red zone penalty. You take a drive where you've really controlled the flow, you've gained a lot of momentum, and you know it's always kind of a letdown when you got to settle for 3 points, especially on a 17-play drive.
Elling's kickoff taken at the 5 by Lavelle Hawkins, who had the go-ahead touchdown for the Titans. And Hawkins still on his feet, dives ahead to the 28-yard line. Nice second effort by Hawkins. Early 4th quarter, it's the Titans leading by 1.
Can't see anything. All he sees is, you know, a big wrinkle like behind his neck. This guy has a big head like that. He'd rather race so he couldn't see.
I want to see you standing behind Goose. Ingle Martin now in at quarterback for the Titans, handing it off to Chris Henry, as we send it downstairs to Chris Myers. Chris.
Thanks, Kenny. On the sideline of the Titans with their leader on defense, Keith Bullock. First of all, how's the cat?
We'll see. I'll just go according to coach and what the trainer said. So.
How will this Titans defense be improved? And you added a familiar face back with the team in Javon Curse.
Yeah, we'll be improved a lot. Having the freak back is big. That gives us extra firepower on that other side of Van der Bosch with Hainsworth and Tony Brown inside. And I think that, you know, definitely get a new jump start to his career. Coming back home, the fans love him, we love him, he fits that way. But honestly, down here we have that workman mentality. You know, it's not a big media market, so we just go about our business each year. And last year we were in the playoffs, we just missed it the year before. So I think our rebuilding process is over, and now we're looking to, you know, make some moves within that AFC South, which is kind of hard because we do have the best conference in football. So.
Finally, it's time to go back to work. Do anything fun in the offseason? A vacation?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Me, Vince Young, and my boy Tank Williams, we went over to Europe and visited several countries for about 2 weeks. So.
I recognize you guys over there?
A little. Not, you know, more so VY, but, you know, there's a few Keith Bullock spottings over there, so it's cool. You take it.
All right, well, have a great season, Keith. Thanks for coming out with us. I appreciate that. Keith Bullock.
All right, thanks, Chris. Keith Bullock, the senior member of the Titans defensive unit, went to the Pro Bowl in 2003. Darryl, out of your alma mater, Syracuse University.
Yeah, you know what? He should have been to more Pro Bowls than just the one in 2003. He's one of those really, really consistent players. Big playmaker. You saw he led the team with 5 interceptions last year. Had one for a touchdown in the preseason game last week against St. Louis. So surprised to hear that Keith Bullock, only 1 Pro Bowl on the resume.
I'm surprised to hear he doesn't like missing practices.
It's a Syracuse guy, Goose. Yeah. Not from Pitt.
Titans leading the Raiders by 1. Andrew Walter remaining in the game at quarterback for Oakland. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. And Walter's throw is complete for first down to a wide-open Darryl Strong, the tight end out of Tony's alma mater. Pitt And Strong gains 22 yards.
He told me he doesn't like to practice. I don't know. It sounds more realistic to me.
Well, the 49ers and Bears continuing their preparations for next Thursday's game on Fox. Quarterback questions in both cities.
Yeah, big quarterback questions in both cities. Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman in Chicago, and a lot of people wonder, JT O'Sullivan following Mike Martz from Detroit out to San Francisco. Is he going to beat out Alex Smith?
Walter complete in Titans territory. Third catch for Chaz Schillens.
He's had a nice night. A couple of guys jumping out at me tonight. Chaz Schillens for the Raiders, Lavelle Hawkins for the Tennessee Titans. So, one of those areas where, the coaches were looking to try and get some information on who's going to be on that opening day roster. A couple guys making a push for it tonight.
First and 10 from the Titans 47. 9 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. Lewis Rankin, number 4 on the depth chart, but a guy who rushed for close to 1,300 yards last year at the University of Washington.
Yeah, undrafted. And, unbelievable. A guy at a big college, Pac-10, almost 1,300 yards, and he goes undrafted. And unfortunately for Lewis, comes to a team that's got Justin Fargas, Darren McFadden, and Michael Bush ahead of him. So tough duty for Lewis. One of those guys that you wonder if he'll even be able to slide through to get on the practice squad.
Or perhaps go elsewhere. Following some nice performances during the preseason. You talk about practice, and hopefully Allen Iverson is not listening. And when we spoke to players here in Nashville, Kevin Mawai specifically, he said it's been a great camp, easiest training camp I've ever had, due in part to the OTAs, the organized team activities during the quote off season. So most of the offense is already in place by the time training camp begins.
The off season is so busy nowadays for the NFL player, to the point where at our seminar, Commissioner Goodell talked about maybe taking a look and reducing the amount of structure that is in the off-season program.
Rankin picks up a first down and more. And the current format, of course, 4 preseason games, 16 regular season games. But the Commissioner, Roger Goodell, earlier this week in his chat with us and all of our colleagues at Fox Sports threw out the idea in the near future of perhaps going to 3 preseason, 17 regular season, or perhaps even 2 and 18.
I don't see that happening. I mean, that's going to be a huge bridge to cross. I don't know how you do it. You've got to renegotiate all these players' contracts. For an 18-game season or a 17-game season as opposed to 16. He thinks he has a way around that one. And actually, the owners. Preseason is a time when ownership gets to make a lot of profits. So it'll be interesting to see if they can work it out. I think more. His focus may be on the number of OTAs. These teams do so much work in the off-season that at the beginning of training camp, I mean, you're just doing the same things with the pads on. I mean, your offenses are installed, your defenses are installed, and there's so much work that is done in the off-season nowadays that they may need to take a look at it. But the Tennessee Titans were rewarded with a great off-season workout and programs and their OTAs by having a very player-friendly training camp.
Bruce, you sound like you don't like those voluntary workouts that they have. They're voluntary. You know that.
Well, they can't be mandatory. Now you can't make them. You can't make them mandatory.
But don't show up and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame for the guys who actually go and play in the Super Bowl, get done, almost in February, and all of a sudden you got March, and they expect you to go and show up on March 1st. I mean, you got to go out and have a little fun, right, Moose?
Just a little bit. You can't squeeze everything into that offseason. So, yeah. Jimmy Johnson's definition of voluntary and the rest of the country's definition of voluntary, a little bit different. I'm
sure Jimmy's not the only head coach who thought along those lines. Andrew Walter back in. Marcus Tuiasosopo came in for one play. Walter steps up and slides down to the 26-yard line, about 6 yards shy of a Raiders first down.
You get a shot of my setup here, Moose. You see what I got down here? Look at this telestrator. This is the telestrator. Look, I can say hi, Moose. Hi, Moose. comes out. Cleared over here. I got all the guys over here. They got the high stuff on that right side, so I can see what the guys are doing on the field. Got a nice little booth set up down here, huh?
What Aaron Elling has done,
Look at
Goose, is connect from 45 yards out, giving the Raiders a 2-point lead. Doink. Over. Raiders by 2.
Bounced right in.
Week 2.
Ball team got together earlier this week in New York. Discussed the upcoming season. We went division by division. You can check it out on foxsports.com. Keyword NFL on Fox. Penalty markers on the return by Lavelle Hawkins. So you can hear from Moose, Goose, Troy Aikman, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw, Jimmy Johnson, Michael Strahan.
Does it have it listed on there that we took second and actually beat me and Lou?
Holding.
Actually,
Number 58, receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
actually beat you, Kenny, and Moody.
By 2. Ceremony prior to the game involving local members of the military. And Goose, that brings us to your summer vacation.
Yeah, it's not a normal vacation. A couple weeks ago, I actually had an opportunity to go to Kuwait to allow us here at home to go and live in freedom and in peace. And what they do is unbelievable. And I couldn't thank you more. If you were in the military, if you're in it now, thank you so much. My family thanks you. All the people at Fox thank you. And I have a great appreciation for what you do.
First down handoff from Engel Martin to Quinton Ganther. He gained 115 yards for the Titans last week in their victory over the St. Louis Rams. Second down and 9. Martin's pass is caught and taken up to the 28-yard line by the rookie out of Cal, third-round pick Craig Stevens. A look at Engel Martin, local product, Nashville native, celebrating his 26th birthday today. Initially attended the University of Florida, transferred to Furman, and was a 5th-round draft pick of the Green Bay Packers 2 years ago. Spent some time as Brett Favre's backup in 06. Spent last season on the Titans practice squad. Third down and 1. 4 minutes remaining. This is Ganther. Goose, was there time during your trip to Kuwait where you were nervous, scared? What was going through your mind once you touched down?
You know, Kenny, I really didn't know what to expect at all. We flew direct from Washington, D.C. right to Kuwait and got in a USO truck and we went out there with just the conditions they live in. It's just unbelievable. Sand everywhere. I mean, you know, you think you see it on TV, but until you go and open the door and 130 degrees hit you right in the face. You know, and I was only there for a week. You know, the kids over there, and I say they're kids, they're men and women, but they're young. They're 18 to 22 years old, the majority of them, and they love being over there, and they support everything, and you know, they talk to their parents, and it was just an unbelievable, eye-opening experience. Guys like that right there, just putting their life on the line for us is just amazing to me, amazing.
Well, we were with the commissioner earlier this week. He made reference to the trip he took to the Middle East with OCU in Europe and the New York Giants and Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints. Martin out of bounds at the 38 as we check in with Chris Myers. Chris?
And on the Titans sideline, Kenny, with they call you the Freak still. And when you first heard that, obviously because of your great athletic ability, but that's, you know, that's an interesting thing to be called.
This is where I earned that nickname, the Freak, so I'm back where I need to be the Freak at, so it's a good fit for me.
And what can you do for this Titan defense, Javon?
I mean, basically just a solid player, every down player. A lot of people would expect me to be a situational player, but right now I'm every down player.
Yeah, the starter. All right, well, have a great season. Thanks for coming by. All right, the Freak, Javon Curse.
All right, Chris, and when we spoke with Albert Hainsworth earlier this week, he said, I can't wait to hear the song Freak Out in our stadium once again.
I think they're going to be hearing it several times during the course of this season. It's just, there's so many guys that you have to worry about in that front. And, you know, Kyle Vanden Bosch coming off the Pro Bowl, Albert Hainsworth off the Pro Bowl. And then all of a sudden you look out to the right and there's Javon Curse. So it's going to be tough for offenses to get those guys blocked.
Josh Miller punting to Michael Waddell. Penalty marker with 3:01 remaining.
Penalty marker on a special teams play? I'm shocked.
Ineligible member of the kicking team downfield, number 85. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
Jamie Petrowski, backup tight end out of Indiana State. So Miller will do it again. Titans led 14-10 through 3 quarters. Aaron Elling has connected on field goals from 27 and 45 yards out here in the 4th. He hit a 56-yarder at the end of the first half, which gave the Raiders a 3-point lead. Miller back at his own 18. Long-time Pittsburgh Steeler. Good kick. Angled towards the sidelines. Stays in bounds, and then Waddell steps out. With 2:51 remaining in quarter number 4. This September, imagine the impossibilities. 2:51 remaining, 4th quarter. Marcus Tuiasosopo, the 8-year veteran, who is back with the Raiders. Spent his first 6 seasons in Oakland, last year with the New York Jets. At the University of Washington, he started 2 regular season games in his career. Tuiasosopo handing off to Rankin. And Rankin, much to the chagrin of his coaching staff, steps out of bounds, so the clock stops with 2:47 remaining. Right now, 80 players on NFL rosters. They will cut down in 11 days to 75, and then finally to 53 4 days after that. And then on the 31st, teams can establish 8-player practice squads. Regular season begins on Thursday, September 4th with the Giants and the Redskins.
I can't wait, can't wait.
And then the 15th season of the NFL on Fox. We started back in 1994. Uh-oh. Big hole for Adam Chernobyl and Jamandu. And Etchamandu is finally tackled inside the Titans' 10-yard line by Marquise Cole. A 72-yard run by the 5th-year back out of Cal.
We keep talking about the depth for both of these teams. Great blocking by everybody. The offensive line, the fullback. A big hole for Adam Chernobyl to get through there. A big back, but with some good speed. I mean, Marquise Cole, he was huffing to get him. I thought Adam Chernobyl was going to get in the end zone. 72 yards for the big man.
So the Raiders, Darryl, who rushed for 248 yards last week against the 49ers, have rushed for 220 yards tonight. Huffing and puffing is Cole, who is a former Raider, spent last season's training camp in Oakland. And he finally was able to tackle Etchamandu, who spent time with 4 different teams: Cleveland, Minnesota, Houston, and the Raiders.
Raider fans are everywhere, guys.
Yeah, very discreet. They're hard to tell.
Yeah.
1st and goal from the 7. Etchamandu turns the corner and is down at the 1.
All right, Coach Knapp, you got to call his number one more time.
Knocked out of bounds by Cole.
Oh. You know what that was for? That was for running him down from behind. I could have had a 77-yard touchdown run.
Straightened out his face mask there.
Oh, he put some lumber on him.
And Etchamandu lined up behind the fullback, Marcel Reese. 2nd and goal from the 1. Etchamandu
Oh,
just short.
No, he rolled over. Did you see how he rolled?
His feet went in, but the ball stayed out.
He did like a somersault and ended up with the ball outside the end zone. He's so tired right now. Watch this right at the end. He gets a great surge by his line. He gets in and pushes the pile. And the roll. Oh.
That kid is exhausted right now. Watch him in the huddle right now.
Benefiting from this timeout. While the Titans will open the regular season at home against Jacksonville, we will be in Philadelphia for the Eagles and the Rams. 7 games on Fox, week 1, including the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will have that one for you in the second game of our Fox doubleheader. 3rd and goal. Tuiasa Sopo with the handoff to the fullback, Reese. O'Neal. Not only is he stopped, but he lost the football. Orland O'Neal, the fullback, turns it over at the 2-yard line.
Just the little things, you know. If Adetomiwa Echemondu can just push that pile a little bit more on the previous play and get a shot, you know, this play is null and void. Looked like Tony Joyner was the guy who knocked the ball loose coming up from his safety spot. Got a helmet right on the football.
Echemondu had 2 chances to score following his 72-yard run. Could not get into the end zone. And the Raiders subsequently turn it over. So with 2:10 remaining, Dingle Martin handing it off and taking it out to the 15-yard line is Quinton Ganther. Ganther gains 12, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. So a chance for the Tennessee Titans, who trail the Raiders by 2.
About the depth for the Oakland Raiders at their running back position. You know, the Tennessee Titans in that same boat. Lendell White, Chris Henry, Chris Johnson, and Quinton Ganther was your leading rusher last week in that big evening against St. Louis.
Penalty marker as Martin dumps it off to Petrowski. Jamie Petrowski, tight end, out of bounds after picking up 5.
Illegal to the hands to the face. Number 72, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Bill Levy losing his voice after having to announce the 18th penalty of tonight's game.
Well, the first game, I really believe that Lane Kiffin was most impressed and most proud of his team by the fact they didn't turn it over, but hasn't been the case tonight. One there that cost them 6 points, and then really this one cost you points too. You know, fumbled down inside right near the goal line, and let's not forget about that hustle play by Marquise Cole. You know, Adetomiwa Echemondu was out in the open field going for a touchdown. He never gave up, ran him down, and a couple plays later, the ball's on the ground, no points.
Following the penalty, 1st and 17. Martin over the middle to Petrowski. Petrowski with a first down out to the 38-yard line. A 30-yard pass play as the Titans hurry up to the line, and one of the Raiders remain down. Gerard Cooper hustling back into the secondary, and now the play blown dead. Movement prior to the snap.
Illegal snap. Number 61 offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
This 2-minute drill is exactly where the communications for the defensive player comes into play, where you don't really have to look over to the sideline to see the defensive coordinator. You could just listen to him. He could tell you what's going on. You can keep your eyes right on the offense and come out and play. This is where it's going to help the defense.
First and 15, following the penalty from the 33. Martin looking for Paul Williams. Incomplete. There's Robert Thomas, who was the second Raider, along with Kirk Morrison, to have the green dot, the green sticker on his helmet, both out of the game. So right now the Raiders do not have a player on the field with the speaker in his helmet. Martin can't find anyone downfield, directing traffic, and then he throws it away.
Oh, they had a little bit of a problem right there. When your quarterback breaks the pocket, if you're on a deeper route, you come back to your quarterback. If you're on a shallow route, you turn and break downfield. Both of the people on the right side of the field.
Titans who trail by 2. Tennessee with 1 timeout remaining. From the 33. Martin fires, and the catch is made for a first down. Byron Ely, one of the receivers in the mix for those 4th and 5th spots, able to make the catch and move the chains and stop the clock.
Well, one of his biggest struggles in the first 2 games has been finishing the catch. He shows good strength at the point of the catch right there against Nick Sanchez. Ball's up high, hands right on his, trying to break his grip on that ball. Byron Ely's kind of struggled a little bit with catching the football the first 2 weeks, makes a good play there.
Titans looking to move into field goal range for John Vaughn. Tennessee trailing Oakland by 2. 1:14 remaining. From their own 48, Martin in trouble. Down he goes. Grayson Gunheim, a rookie free agent out of the University of Washington. Wrapping up Martin. Clock continues to run. Loss of 13 yards on the play. 2nd and 23. Martin dumps it off to Ganther, but he's met immediately at the 40-yard line by Isaiah Ekajuba. And the Titans use their final timeout with 40 on Fox. There is Archuleta, the former Ram, Redskin, and Chicago Bear, signed on Monday.
Already making his presence felt, and surprised to hear that, the way they're going to utilize him, it doesn't sound like he's going to be used as a strong safety. Jabril Wilson was brought in. They've got Jared Cooper back there. Adam Archuleta is going to be listed as a linebacker in this defense. Gives them some flexibility if anything was to happen from an injury standpoint. But there he is right there. He's playing linebacker.
We're down in 17. Martin for Ely. And Byron Ely makes the catch at the Raiders 41. Picks up another Titans first down.
Did he get it? Are they right on? Yep.
Before the snap, there will be a replay.
Final 2 minutes. So
Booth review.
Bill Levy was buzzed by the...
Byron Ely coming and making some big plays at a critical time. He's had a couple of drops already tonight. Looks good to me. He kept possession all the way through the catch. That's the big thing that the...
Oh, it has no bearing on the regular season standings.
He has a different approach to preseason. He wants to win this game. He'll play his starters in the 4th preseason game through halftime in the first series of the 3rd quarter. So he goes about things a little bit different than some coaches.
20 seconds remaining. Titans out of timeouts. Martin over the middle. The catch is made and taken down at the 15-yard line. Chris Davis. Titans
make sure everybody's still. Get a good formation.
They'll look to spike the ball here and then bring out the field goal unit.
They got 2 seconds.
Chris Davis, 4th-round pick a year ago out of Florida State, makes the catch, brings the Titans into field goal range for John Vaughn.
That young group of receivers had a tough night up until this last drive. Hiram Eugene way off. Too much cushion in that situation. Easy for Chris Davis to beat him on the slant. And they're in man-to-man cover. Touchdown.
33-yard attempt. Vaughn missed from 49 earlier. Filling in for the injured Rob Baronis. Raiders call timeout.
That's their second charge, timeout. 30-second timeout.
So John Vaughn, the Nashville native, spent some time in the Arena League, holds the Tennessee high school state record, 39 career field goals. will now try and kick a game winner for his hometown Tennessee Titans. Looking to make an impression, hoping to catch on elsewhere.
As a franchise record if it's not preseason, and I doubt he'll have a shot with Sebastian Janikowski out there.
Josh Miller will place it down. 33-yard attempt for the win. Vaughn's kick is good.
How about that? This game comes down to a very unique play. You know, something that nobody's going to talk about tomorrow. But Marquise Cole, never giving up on that run by Adam Shinobi Echibandu, tackles him. They end up fumbling inside the 5. Gives Tennessee a chance to come back and win this football game. I mean, he is that's a huge play in preseason. You're trying to make the